Hey, welcome, Lounge Lizards, to another episode of Legions Lounge, episode 75. 75. 75.
75, wow.
Yeah, pretty cool,
That's
right?
a milestone number.
I know,
Yeah,
I
it
love
is.
those numbers, right?
Nice.
Where we talk all things Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, Figura Obscura, Customs, and other mythical-related action figures and stuff. We're your hosts. My name is Trevor16_shooter on Instagram. With me, as always, Bill Janowski from the Dork Lair, at the Dork Lair, or at the Dork Lair and at Dork Lair, depending on where you are. And Nate Strong at Corona4, wherever you are. Anywhere on the street,
Anywhere.
you see him. He's right there. It's at Corona4. Before we get started, please take a second to hit the like button. That helps us out, lets people know that we're on and this is happening. And after the show, leave us a comment. Let us know, comment on something we're going to talk about in the show. We're going to take questions tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about lore. So I'm sure there's some stuff that people have questions about there. Not that we're going to have the answers, but discussion wise. But yeah, as always, super chats are appreciated. That's guarantee you get your comment gets read and helps us pay for all this stuff that we need to pay for to run this thing. Boys, how are you? It's been a while, right?
Has been.
It feels like it's been a while.
It's been a month, right?
Has it been a month? No,
Because we
skipped. Has it?
We skipped our middle one, right?
Right, we missed the second week. I was just too busy.
Maybe it's 3 weeks.
Shooting pictures.
No.
I think it's been 3
Yeah,
weeks.
3,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
All right. Feels like a month. Feels like
I know it does feel
forever.
like a long time. What have you guys been up to? How you been? Everybody got their figure obscuras in, or no? Did you get yours, Nate?
I did, yeah.
Okay,
Excellent set. Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you've taken some pictures already. That's right.
I took one shot, yeah. And you know what? I wonder if I can grab it real quick. Do you ever play the New York Times called Connections?
Oh yeah, every day.
A total
Every
tangent.
freaking day. Yep.
My wife and I just started playing that fairly recently, and we got one today, and we're like, what is that? ANKH or something like that? And we looked it up, and it's this, of all things.
It's the Ankh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, we didn't know what that was. I'm like, oh my God, I just got that piece. I know what that is. It was fun.
I first
Sandman
learned about
taught me that.
Ankh from Magic the Gathering.
Oh, there you go.
Of Mishra is a magic
It
card.
just
from
didn't
the
ring a
early
bell
days.
until I saw it. So anyway, it's kind
I,
of funny.
th- I
So,
think that was a Sandman
that?
learn for me because Death wore the Ankh around her on a chain
Right.
around her neck. Nate, who we got? Who we got in the chat
What we
here?
got?
We got 48 people
got
so far, which is
Blake.
cool.
AKA Recon Rage with a happy Monday. Rob Zamora, how you
up,
doing,
Blake?
Rob? Dave Orkin. Big Greg
What's
with
up,
a
Dave?
year. What's up, Curtis?
Grr.
And TJ Williams.
What's up,
See,
Tom?
Jessam says first, and then he says, never mind. Well, you were the first to say
You always
that,
got to check first.
right?
He was
the
the first to
Collecting
say
Brothers,
first.
what's
That's
up?
true.
Josh Brown, David Smith, Jeremy Govier, Kent Pool Collects. Kent, what's up? Jeff Evans, Tanya McCoy. Hey, Tanya. Josh
What's up, Tanya?
Brown and Kevin McCoy. Elijah, Captain
The whole
Firebird,
McCoy.
Michael Morales, Stacy Lynn, Mark R. The Purple Gang. What's up, boys?
What's up,
The
boys?
first 58. David Williams, Kevin Hamilton, Edgardo, Joe Gonzalez, Fortress Maximus, Brian, Carver Customs, what's going on? Wholesome Warlock, Van Johnson, the two Purple Gangs, Rick Jones, that's a vibe. Justin Collects, what's going on? Matt, Collectible Fun,
What's up,
Jesse,
Justin?
just shelve it, Santos, JG,
What's up, Santos?
Kevin Hamilton, Russian 61, and Cloud. What is up,
Hey,
everyone? Thank you
how are you,
for
Cloud?
joining us.
Shout out to the Collecting Brothers for saving me from having to. I didn't tag you guys, or you could have reposted it, but
I
they
saw
put up
that
a
they
story
tagged
today.
us, so yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you
Oh, they
guys
did.
for
Okay.
doing that.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I reposted that. So thanks to those guys for shouting us out because it's been kind of one of those weeks, and I didn't get a story up for a while.
No worries.
So tonight we're doing a little AMA. We did this. I don't know. It feels like a couple months ago. I think we did one of these. And yeah, it's because I've been busy and I haven't had a chance to book a guest.
It's a good
You know,
stand-in
we've been planning
topic.
this. This has been the plan the whole time, right?
That's true, right?
Yes,
I
we
forgot
remember
about
we
that. It
said
was
we're going
on
to do
the
this every
schedule.
couple months. Yeah.
Right, this is on the schedule. That's right.
We just flipped
Um,
the 1/6 shooter calendar
Yeah,
for
that's
June,
right.
and there
That's
it
right.
was.
Boom.
Yo Joe June. Yeah, so a lot of people. We had the wave reveal on Friday, which was awesome, and we I think all of us and like everybody was on Outworld doing Offworld. Sorry, I'm tired. Offworld doing a recap of it right after that, and then there's been multiple recaps. Bill's got some great videos on it talking about the retail aspect of it and
Would you say there's been a
costs.
plethora of recaps?
I would say there has been a plethora. I would go so
bevy
far as to say a
of-
plethora or a bevy or bevy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a lot of good
slew
content, a lot of good
of-
shows,
A
a lot of good
slew?
reaction videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people on the Legion's
Legion's
one is this?
Cast.
Legion's Cast. Thank you. Legion's Cast was doing a live watch along, and I know Brick Something was doing a live watch along on his channel.
Speaking
so I
of
jumped over to
Legion's
some of those.
Cast, a quick shout out and a happy birthday to TMO today.
I was going to get excellent. Yep,
Happy birthday.
absolutely. Yemel Wickman, amazing. So it's funny, like the first. Oh, we got a super chat, but we'll get that in a second. So this is the first time like I actually tried to involve my wife in this. So like, she knows that I do this stuff. She sees the stuff occasionally. I mean, I think she follows me on Instagram. She's not a big social media person anymore. I mean, it's good. It's a good thing because it's toxic. You know what I mean? So I think she
my
tries to
wife
stay away from that kind of
Totally
stuff.
avoids it. Yeah.
But I know she knows what I do, but I don't think she really understands like what these things are. You know what I mean? She sees them on the shelf, but she doesn't really understand it. So I'm like, you want to watch this reveal with me? Like, she's like, yeah, all right. So we had a friend of ours over for the weekend. It was her birthday, and we were having a little party for her on Saturday. So it was interesting to watch the two of them watch this. Very cool about it, and it was cool. Like, it was kind of like when the pictures was like, oh, you're on TV. I'm like, it's YouTube. I'm not really on TV. It was our friend. Friend's a little older. It's like, you're on TV. I'm like, no, I'm not on TV. But it was cool for them to see the pictures and stuff like that. But sitting through some of the lore and stuff like that, they're just like looking at each other
Get a little
and looking at
glassy-eyed.
me, going, "Wow, what is this? Like,
Yeah. Hey,
you're
at least
the
they-
goblin,
at least they
you're
gave
of
an
the
effort.
dwarf."
Yeah.
Knows the year of yeah. So it's cool. Like I think she's actually going to come out if she can find a couple of our friends might come out too on one of the days during Legion's Con just to see what it's all about.
fun.
'Cause
Awesome.
yeah. So we'll see. But it was interesting watching it through someone else's eyes who knows nothing about it.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I'm curious if anybody else has done that. Technically, I was on TV. Yes, Josh. It was on the TV, but that was it. All right, we got a couple of super chats. Why don't you hit us up with those, Nate?
I will. This is from our
Oh, we got some questions. Okay,
our awesome
so
patron
save that.
Curtis Ackerman. We'll come back to that.
All right, cool. Thank you, Curtis. Well, we will
and
hit that one up.
Rob, let's see. Is this a question? Nope. This is more of a shout from Rob, who's super generous as always.
Boom with the 10.
Thank you,
Trevor
Rob.
Jeremy
Appreciate it,
talked
man.
about the Aza picture idea. Trevor, here's Aza. And just so you know, we have too many hanging on that need to sell. Jeremy, say less. I got you, fam. Love you guys.
I'll tell you
Totally
what.
how it went down, right?
Complete opposite of that. So it was my idea. Like I'm like, I want to have her, raising these, with the blue Hagnon especially because it matches the little blue spell effect that she has with the skull. And I'm like, oh, this, they come with skulls. The Hagnon, besides the Hagnon head, it comes with the skull head. I'm like, this would look really cool. I just think that would look really cool with that. It would kind of match up with them and kind of look as if, they were
Aesthetically, yeah. Looks good.
and he was hesitant about it. He was like,
Really?
I think he wasn't thinking about the skull heads. He was thinking about the Hagnon head and like Hagnon's a character and like he really wanted to be Hagnon. I'm like, no, I'm going to use the skull heads. And he's like, oh, yeah, all right, okay, let's see how it looks. So I tried it. He loved it. So that was that.
Yeah,
So,
that
it wasn't. It
picture's
definitely was not a ploy to sell more. Although I have been seeing a lot of people say, I need to buy more Hagnons now. So there
Yeah,
you go.
man.
You're welcome.
Well, they're available, so now's the time.
Yes, they
they're out there.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Certainly
picture
are.
turned out to be, I'd say, one of the top liked, not only among this wave, but I think among almost all the pics you've taken. This one's
Yeah.
a real standout, man.
Make
so
some prints of that for sure. For
Yeah, I will. Too many
Awesome
people have
job.
asked for one, so I will definitely do that. Yeah, that was challenging, but it was fun to get it done. And I did take a little bit of liberty. I took them out, the two blue Hagnons out of there, and then shot it without them. And so I added a little transparency to them, just a little extra translucency
cool.
to them, just to make them a little more spectral or whatever.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, very cool, man. Those, I think they look really good. I had not even taken the blue Hagnons out of the package yet, and I really kind of like the color over the original one, the green one. So
yeah,
I'm down with it. I think it's cool.
awesome.
Do we want to talk a little bit about this and then get to questions? I'll talk a little lore first, or
yeah,
let's take a look at it. Yeah, let's take a look at it,
let's
because
take
it
a look while
is
we're
kind
on
of
the
top
topic.
of mind. So we've got. I mean, we could take a look at it on the store, but like everybody kind of knows, I think, who's watching the show at this point, we got the all-in for $420. Prices, what did you guys think? I mean, I thought, again, like, prices were nuts, man. I still marvel at the pricing that they, and even like talking about throwback pricing on some of these things, you know
I
what
know,
mean?
right? Yeah, the
Which is
value we
nuts.
continue to get from this line and
Yeah.
this company is outstanding.
Yep.
Yeah, and the fact that they did the throwback pricing, it just was not only an awesome gesture, but it worked great with their theme of sort of a little bit of the old, a little bit of the new. So yeah, super cool.
A little bit borrowed, a little bit of blue, which there is.
and like even the regular, like the $37 regular figures, they just keep coming with more and more every
Yeah.
year. And you have the $60 deluxe figure that's got probably more than
I
any
mean,
deluxe figure has ever
Look
had.
at the stuff, man.
It's crazy.
It's insane. He wanted me to take this shot to look like the original shot of that they had on
Yeah.
the site of the original Night Builder.
Yeah.
And I was gonna originally in my head, you know, looking at that picture, I was gonna try and arrange things the way those were arranged, which were more like kind of fanned
There's,
out
like,
around.
triple the
And I'm like, I can't fit all this stuff in here, man. You're not even gonna recognize
Zoom
it. So
out. Yeah.
I had to do my own kind of thing with it. But I matched the
It
way
it
the,
captures it really well.
Totally.
yeah, the way the
Check
knight
that.
is standing is very much like that was. But yeah, there's so much stuff in this thing. It's insane, man. It's really, really, it's a really good set. I love this. This is a great.
Do you want to
build.
pull
I
up
love this
the
one too. Yeah.
Source Horsemen? Because that'll be zoomed
Yeah.
in a little bit better, you know.
Yeah, let me bring up that. I got this open.
I've got all the prices down, I think, because I made that
Okay.
video, so I should be
Yeah,
able
even
to
better.
cite the.
Yeah, and that way we can just jump right into the lore a little
Bios
bit
and-
because
Yeah. While you're pulling that up, if
Mhm.
y'all haven't checked out Bill Dorklayer's review
mhm.
of the set and the breakdown, category wise, price wise, again, you do a great job of sort of the comparison between pre-order or going with retailers and the
Yep.
pros and cons of both. So it's all on a Bill's awesome vid. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
By the way,
True enough.
I'm gonna keep trying to. This is a random side thing. I'm gonna keep trying to star the comments so that they get put into like a separate thing. So if people are
Perfect.
asking questions, feel free. If something comes up that you want to ask during the Q&A section, just throw the question in there, and I'm going to try to star the ones
Perfect.
that I see.
Excellent.
Yeah, I see
Perfect.
Jeremy Govier put a Q up front. That's sort of a nice way to
Yeah, a Q
for
would
us
be
to
a good-
instantly recognize that that's what it's going to be. So
Yeah, Q or ask us anything or whatever. That's good too. You know, some sort of intro so we don't miss it. So 9, technically 10 figure wave, but you know, double with the malignancy over here, which was great. As soon as he told me that, I was like, oh man, we're gonna have some people going crazy. As well as Iosf, as well as the Noah tribute here.
Shadow Elf, Noah. Yeah.
that's awesome.
And I've forgotten. I just listened to the Enablers today, Mythic Enablers on podcast. If you haven't checked that out, it's fantastic. I forgot he had done that awesome Papa Smurf, sort of custom figure, man. So like I was like, did that play into that? I haven't asked, but
That and he's
pretty
in
cool.
the parts he put together a pretty similar rogue-looking character like this.
Yes, with the
monkey.
monkey head, he did that. I got that print that he did with a very much roguish looking monkey head.
Yep.
Which was really, really nice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through these in terms of like lore, but we'll talk a little bit about them. I mean, everybody's kind of gone through them in terms of like parts and pieces that we're getting, and the looks and stuff. We can talk a little bit about them if you guys got questions that you want us to answer about them or something while we're doing it. That's fine. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
So are we starting with the blue shield soldier? Because I actually do have a question.
Yes, we will. Yep.
So the armor tone, would you say it has a flat or a metallic kind of look to it? Like, would you say it's closer to, the silver of, say, the original Templar and the original Knight Builder deluxe set, or is it closer to like the flat silver of, like what's his name, Sir Owain, right? So he's got that flat, almost whitish silver. Like,
no, it's more silver. I would say it's more like the Templars, but maybe a little bit shinier. Okay. It's pretty bright, like, because in this shot you can't really tell because I kind of went in and retouched them a little bit. But this shot is these are a couple of Valiant Knights that I just took because it's basically it's all the same parts. They're just not trimmed out, and it's a different armor color. But once you cover it up with a lot of the stuff that they have on and the torsos and stuff like that, the only thing that's really showing is the arms. So it's significantly brighter than that. Obviously, that's got a little bit of a dull, dull gunmetal gray to it, gunmetal color to it. So this is significantly brighter. This is like bright, shiny night silver. Okay. So yeah, definitely more like the Templars.
Like Owain.
No.
Okay.
Definitely more shiny like the Templars. Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a killer set. So a lot of people were talking about. We'll start out lore talk like this. Obviously, we'll go quickly through this. In the aftermath of the Second Great War, the Legions of Dark have been defeated. Now, a lot of consternation that you start a sentence and it's like, well, what? That's it? It's over? It's like, well, what? I mean, yeah. I mean, like the thing is, like, I get, there's a couple of ways you could have done this. You could have gone through battle by battle, I suppose. But I'm sure there's a reason that they're going, epilogue, and then we'll tell you what happened, which is what's happening. Like, it's going to be like, I mean, you don't end this up by like, well, everybody died. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of know that the Legions of Light were going to beat the Four Horsemen and the Legions of Dark, and it was just a matter of how. So now we're learning the how in stories, in little tales and stuff like that. And there's kind of there's 4 stories here, maybe 5 if you count Shui, which we'll get to. Stories here all centered around the Tower of Basilia, and in some way, not all of them are, but all of them have like an indirect, I think. Well, no, not all of them do, but a lot of them do anyway. But I like this approach. I think everybody was just like, oh wait, that's it. Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of chapter 1. That's the end of the Second Great War, but we don't know how it happened. We don't know who died. We don't know who didn't make it. They said there's great losses, right? Many of the realm's greatest heroes have made the ultimate sacrifice. What else does that mean? Right. And those who remain are left to rebuild the shattered world. So there's tons of stories left.
Absolutely.
Just on that. You know what I mean?
And in one way, it makes it almost more intriguing, It's like,
yeah.
Okay, well, how did all this happen? Well, that's what we're going to explain now.
And you don't know what's left standing. I mean, the tower fell, all but destroyed. Just barely hanging on, I guess, was what I take from it. But we don't know what else. What else fell? What other regions? What other factions were wiped out or almost wiped out? Or we don't know. Anything could happen here. So there's still plenty to speculate about. It's just that I don't think like saying, okay, here's a battle, like what do you do with a battle? I mean, maybe we'll get some of that stuff, but I don't think that, battle by battle, let's go through and have, here's an army, there's an army, and here's a battle. You know what I mean?
And I think what this is more doing is they're framing. It's like story framing, right? Like how many times have you seen an episode of a show start off and you're like at this catastrophic moment, right?
Right.
And then it just takes you back It's like, you know, 1
Exactly.
week earlier, and then
Yep,
you get the
yep.
whole story up to that point,
Right.
and then it finishes it after. Right? Like,
Exactly.
this is probably that kind of framing that's going on.
Yep.
It's a very common, it's a very, you know, like normal storytelling technique. It's
Yep.
just, this is action figures, right? Like
Right.
they're telling, as you know, they're trying
Without
to
media.
sprinkle clues. Yeah, they're trying to sprinkle clues in here and give us little tidbits of a greater story without telling us the whole story and everything about it. And you know, they're trying to kind of ramp things up towards this book that's gonna, you know, 2 books, they're gonna come out and like kind of like fill in all those gaps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Here is a non-question super chat from our man Kevin Boots,
Thank you,
$4.99.
Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. He's always good for a good evening, gentlemen of the lounge. Don't forget to hit that like
Thank you,
button,
Kevin.
people. Yeah, thanks, buddy.
What's up, Kevin?
Thank you very much, buddy. Really appreciate that. Every week too. Like, love that. Love that guy.
Yeah.
It's the best. So just to finish this up, back in Ophidian, an old wizard named Shui, which I was calling Zoo the entire time. I kind of, it's very hard to switch to Shui, but that's fine. Combs through the charred remains of the library as Agbendor's new master of records. He works to salvage the great knowledge once contained within the library's halls. He also begins to record stories of the most recent battles. So these are probably the way these are going to be presented. You know what I mean? Another story of the recent battles. For those who will rule, the mythos of tomorrow must know of the heroism and sacrifice that helped win the Second Great War, which ended the rise of the Dark Four. Because, like, if you look at the lore at the beginning, like, they talk about how a lot of the history and lore of the First Great War was kind of lost to history, to, you know, just kind of to time, basically. Like, it's, they call it ancient. I don't know if they're retconning that or not. I got a little bit of something to bring up with that in a minute, but so that's the setting. And then within this, there are matchups between each of these figures, you know, 2 by 2 by 2, are little stories that go together. So, yeah.
By the way, I do want to reiterate one more time how good of a deal this is at $6,000. Like, this is an excellent price for the wave, if you ask me.
Yeah, $6,000 is certainly
it's a
cheap.
good price.
Mm-hmm.
Couple all-ins, you know.
Yeah. I was also just going to say, I think the way they set this up to it is setting us up for, and a lot of people speculated that this reveal was going to be revealed to us in this way. Like, they're giving us the stories like they do in Cosmic Legions, and those waves revolve around just a storyline, right? You know, of a sort of prepackaged storyline, as opposed to, you know, 2 opposing factions that we've been getting. So I think this really sets up possibly moving forward. That's how we're going to get a lot of the new waves.
Right.
We're going to be looking back at all these different stories that lead up to this, obviously, and that may be a new way to package everything up.
And it harkens a little bit back to, like, Siege of Bjorngar, which was like a battle that they talked about. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was kind of disparate figures that weren't necessarily linked up, but had stories within that, you know, that sort of battle or outside that battle or that related to that battle. So I like it. I think it's a cool way to go.
I think it's super cool.
So we started out with the Blue Shield, and we were talking about this. I don't know if real quick. There are a few stories from First Great War as heroic or as heroic or as tragic as that of the Blue Shield. Sworn to Leodicius, the Blue Shield was tasked with guarding the armor's rear, besieged by a horde of goblins. These knights knew they could not keep the flood of evil warriors at bay for long. The Blue Shield decided to destroy the tunnels from where their enemies were coming, a plan that would also trap them in the collapse. The knights knew this would be their final act, yet none hesitated in their duty. The tunnels were destroyed, ending the threat of the goblin army in a selfless act, a sacrifice that is still honored in Leondor today, although it didn't work. So that's okay. We don't know that. They don't know that. But yeah, so my thought. So this is a story from the First Great War. This is at least around the time of the First Great War, right? So this is in the past. This is not even like has nothing to do with the Second Great War and the exactly. It's kind of the rise of the goblins and where the goblins and Gob Hollow came from.
So the Malignancy Pack, those are the founding fathers of the like the Gob Hollow Goblin Society or civilization or whatever you want to call it, right? It's kind of cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I
one.
Yep. I was just gonna say we were kind of speculating before we came on was what's the time frame in between the two great wars? It could be, who
That's
knows? Could be generations, could be centuries, could be.
I mean, the only thing we have to
decades,
go
we don't
on
know.
is if you go in the lore and you look at, this is ancient history. So the ancient history is talking
Ancient.
about the first Great War, and this is when. Now, this talks about great wars, so maybe this wasn't the first Great War, but I'm assuming it was. That was where, Basilia and Aetheron and Xylona and Laodicius were all involved with their own armies that led their own armies as entities, as like gods among us or whatever. Wars went on for many decades, evil generals being banished for all eternity, blah, blah, blah. But then, as memories of the ancient world has faded over time, so have the great beasts that once walked the earth. So ancient, when it says ancient, I feel like that's
Centuries.
Hundreds of years or something.
centuries at least, right?
Yeah.
So, the one thing is like, oops, you kind of go back to this, and I'm being a stickler here. I don't want to be a jerk about it, but I mean, armor changes, but like, this is hundreds of years ago. You know what I mean? Apparently, at least hundreds of years ago. So,
There's you got to
it
have a
doesn't
little
change
bit
much.
of suspension of disbelief.
Of course, it's fantasy.
in
Yes,
those
I understand.
kinds of things. And like even in like Lord of the Rings, it feels like when you have like elves and stuff, things can change slowly. Like
Lord of the Rings
tack
is a good
and gear.
example, actually. Yeah, because there were thousands of years in between some of those ages, and it didn't really progress into any kind of technological, world. So you're right. I'll back off on that, but it's been hundreds of years. This is a story from at least hundreds of years ago, and which I don't know if this came from that or if I just guessed well, but like I think we were talking about when we were talking about the factions or the figures or something like that. I said, the reason Otho, people were talking about maybe Otho will have the gold and the red in 2.0, but I'm like, I feel like he's the leader of like those that first night builder, like those blue night builders, both the night builders, the female and the male, because they both had blue, and Leondor and Laodicius is red for the most part, red and gold.
It kind of turns out to be true because
And that's what it is.
Wears it. He wears it in honor. He's a modern
Correct.
day.
Right.
He's
Right.
in the present day, and he wears it out of the legend that these guys created throughout their sacrifice.
Exactly.
And I like what, speaking of the enablers, Joe said in my head that these new blue shields that we're going to get are Otho is sort of bringing this this group back up, that he's going to head them up now.
That's what I kind of wanted to in my head. That's what I was thinking too, is that there's just a new version. They
reestablished
reformed them or
this
something
order,
like that.
or-
I think I said like I felt he was like kind of a lord and had like his own section of the land and had his own army. So it's not technically his army, but I would like to think that like he reformed this in honor of that, and that he wears the blue, and so these guys wear the blue. So I like that. And just like Joe, I think I'm going to be
sure.
Yeah. I'm going to do the same thing and make these guys kind of a sub army underneath Otho for sure.
Yeah.
So so going along with that, so this was the kind of the they go by twos except for Shui. For the most part, although he ties into the Basilia, of course.
Let's answer
yep.
Lee's got a point.
Yeah, if you got questions, for sure.
So the original Blue Knight builder is from the Order of Aetheron. So that's the thing about the newer. They talked about that kind of stuff, like the newer builders. The Goblins, the Gold Skeleton. Like the difference here is that those original ones, those were just made just as generic builders without any connection to any story. Like this in real world is a tribute to that real world product before, but in lore, this isn't the actual story. Like this is what they're giving us for the story of this specific Blue Shield soldier. So like in lore, I guess technically the original knight is not a Blue Shield soldier, technically. Like story wise, if you really think about it.
He was
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't named.
It's a Knight Legion builder. They had
no bio,
blue.
no info. Yeah, just happens to be.
You know,
in
the
that.
blue was the shield and this tabard, and oh no, there was another body.
And the chest. He has the chest. Too.
Yeah,
It's
there
just
was
not in
another
the
chest
picture.
body. It's just
Yeah.
not in the picture, right? Yeah, exactly.
That was like that was my first figure, and I
Yeah.
remember getting it and like I remember pre-ordering it, and I was like, that thing comes with another chest. I better get something else. And the Templar was in that.
Oh, there you
The
go.
Templar was in that wave.
Yep.
So I ended up getting it. My first two figures were that and a Templar, so that I could mix and match and start. Like originally, like my first purchase had like mixing and popping and swapping right built
Yep.
in.
I also think that there's an element of retcon that we can be a little, a little more lenient with. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
Yeah.
this stuff in some of these early waves was just like,
Generic.
yeah, they just had it like it's knights and stuff
Right.
right
You
now,
just
so we're just kind of like
had to
putting them
attribute
where
it
we think
to-
they'd go. You know? Yeah.
So if you want,
So-
if you need a true headcanon with the armored chest, even with both of these, right? With the armored chest, consider it an Aetheron figure. With the blue chest or the blue striped chest,
And yellow strip.
consider it,
Leodicius.
the blue shield soldier.
Yep. Yeah, because this is Leodicius. This was Army of Leodicius.
Oh, okay,
But I like that. I like how they retconned that a little bit because I was always put off by the blue and everything is red. And
Right.
I'm like, why are they Army of Leodicius? But there you go. That's why. So I like that. So then we got the Malignancy of Gob Hollow, and the Malignancy, obviously a nod to the Malignancy on Facebook, which is awesome. One of the most enduring stories of the First Great War is the sacrifice of the Blue Shield and their defeat of the Goblin army. What few realize about the story is that the goblins who were trapped under the Greyvein Mountains did not die when the tunnels collapsed. Able to see even in the darkest depths, the goblins crawled out from under the rubble and made their way deeper under the mountain. Here they found the vast cavern that would become the city of Gob Hollow. Allowed to fester in the darkness, this malignancy would grow for ages until the goblins rose once again to answer the call of Erethyr and fight in his fiery legion. So I like one of the things that I like is this shield has like kind of like a scraped, pulled out from the muck or used to dig through rock and it's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
That kind of fits in
Great
with that.
touch.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded if they were actually all a little bit dirtier, but I realize why they don't do a lot of that weathering stuff. It's expensive and not everybody wants that. So this is a great looking set. I love this.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Speaking of this set,
Mark!
Mark is parking the car. Congrats, Mark.
Get some tomato pie. Yeah, cool looking set, man. So you get two full figures here. You get a 1.0 and a 2.0 Goblin. A couple of different neck pegs. Like you pointed out, Bill, I think this is a shorter version of the new
Squatty, yeah.
squatter version of the new neck peg, which is cool. We get 1.0 arms, Goblin Bear upper arms, 1.0, and thighs, which you can use anywhere.
And new 2.0 upper arms. Those are new as well.
Correct. Yep. 2.0 upper arms. Yep. Yeah, they put the thighs in here. I mean, the thighs to me look like 1.0 thighs, but I guess they could really work on either one of them for the most part. But
love those heads.
yep. And they're going into Gob
Love the
Hollow.
shot too, man. Such a great shot. Such a classic fantasy shot.
Yeah, you would know that. It's like when you like light like that overhead lighting, which who knows what it is. It's like an
comes
open
right out of
cavern
a
in the top. or
D&D
something like that.
manual.
Having them
Yeah.
stacked like that, were you kind of thinking about the Nate Barch image on the package where they're kind of stacked
No.
on each other? Like
I did not think
Wow.
about
kind
that.
of calls
but,
back
yeah.
to that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Good call.
Yeah, I almost did them a little more like I did that dwarf shot where they were technically like stair stepped on top of each other, and I don't know, that would have been cool. It would have been a coincidence, but it would have been cool because I really wasn't thinking about that shot.
Yeah, I popped
And
around.
I
the
didn't even
door, went,
realize that was the-
hello.
Yeah, hello. And that, I didn't even realize until somebody pointed out that those were those heads from that illustration, which is awesome. Goes to show you, pay attention to the illustrations, even if you already don't, because they're just beautiful. But look at the details. Look at all the details. So yeah, there's also a story from at least hundreds of years ago, but now obviously they all survived. This is the basis of the malignancy and a lot of the goblins that are fighting with Erethyr. So that is that.
Yeah. Awesome backstory.
Second little story, we've got Iosf of the Golden Spear. So
Yes.
only the second angel that we've gotten, and this is cool because I've been thinking about other angels, but like with Gadriel, it's like she was kind of like an outlier. You know what I mean? Like, where did this come from? You know, I mean, again, early figure, and maybe just like, you know, something that they wanted to kind of play with and weren't really. I don't know how much they were thinking about the lore. I know he had lore in mind.
They've made like 100 figures. They're not all
I know.
gonna
Yep.
like fit perfectly into the lore,
Correct.
and not all of them had the same amount of like weight as all the other
And
ones.
yes, exactly. And backstory written back then, especially.
Yeah.
But I love that they're taking it and building it out now, so that she's not the only one. It's not like some, they're talking about Cirrus, and the city and things like that. So, hero from the
hold on
first
a
stage.
second.
Go ahead. Yep.
Curtis, go ahead and mute. Go ahead and
Chris.
mute. We'll let you know when he's done.
La.
Okay? Yeah. Earmuffs.
Oh, sorry, Curtis. I can read them slower and in more of a ASMR a hero from the first stage of Mythos, Iosf of the Golden Spear. Led a battalion of angelic warriors for the celestial city of Sirius to fight with the First Great War. Tragically, their mission was doomed one, and only Iosf survived an encounter with Maxilius the Harvester. Now, Maxilius seemed like I just figured he was like kind of the guy that was like behind everybody, just like collecting the souls and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Makes him out to be a lot bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some powers, so he's obviously got his own little army or something like that. He's got a big old scythe, but still seems like a lot for him. But anyway, giving him a lot of weight here, so I guess he's a bigger character than I thought. The angels fought valiantly, but they were each cut down by the Harvester and raised from the dead by the unholy magic of Necronominus. Still, Iosf did not surrender, and he proved instrumental to the victory of the First Great War. Returning to Sirius alone, it would be ages before another of his kind would leave the angelic city to fight in the battles of Mythos, and that would be Gadriel. So she, again, this is hundreds of years ago. This is the First Great War. Whether or not, as an angel, he's still around, immortal, no idea. We don't know enough about Cirrus. We don't know. I mean, they're angels, but we don't know what angels mean in Mythos. You know what I mean? It's just another
Mortal race, it could be.
Breed, another race. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Of mortal. Yeah, they could be mortal. They could be immortal. We don't even know. Well, no, we do know they're not like elf-like, because she doesn't have ears like that. But yeah, great character. Shout out to Joe Russo for getting
Joe.
A knight, and now
the White Knight, and he's an angel. We all know Joe. Joe Bro's an angel.
Yes, he's an angel.
Yo, bro.
This armor is beautiful, man.
Oh, man.
It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. And it's a white knight,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's got some PGG highlights.
That's right. And this is a great look. I love this look. And a lot of people were saying, originally I think somebody mistakenly told me that this was the actual helmet, but you can make it your own thing, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's cool to see that helmet in a white color like that.
Yeah.
It's just a very different look for it.
For sure.
And hey, Kevin pulled up a great quote here. He must have went back into the Maxilius's bio. Harvester's job is to give his master fields of freshly reaped bodies to turn to his side. Maxilius is as unstoppable as the passage of time. So
there you go. It's been a while since I read that. So
extremely
cool.
powerful. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin.
Kind of gives him an endurance, and like he's enduring, like he could probably still exist in the present day. And I think
he does.
A lot of the Necronominus, I would assume, is just sort of.
I mean, they're already dead. Where are they going?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's just you wonder what they do in between time. But
a lot of backgammon.
A lot of reading, backgammon, cribbage, dice, rolling the bones, of course, obviously. Yahtzee. Yeah, you get some. So you get two face shields with this. A lot of hand choices. The hand choices are nuts now, man. It's so great
They're
to have all
awesome.
that stuff. We take that for granted now, but man, that was such a
It took
such a
the line to a
dream of
whole
mine
new
before
level.
Aerith era. Yeah,
It's awesome.
and
Yeah, there was one recently that only came with like 2 sets, and I was like, I'm a little disappointed.
I
here.
know, I know.
Spoiled.
It's such a gorgeous photo too, man. The purple and the clouds.
The clouds came out great.
Oh yeah. Like
So
you
this is
said,
cotton below here, but
Cotton.
it kind of
Yeah.
came like it kind of get to a point where I probably should have put some over his foot to make it look like it was tangible, because it almost becomes like it just looks like a screenshot or something behind it, which I never do. I never just put a screenshot. I always want to have something tangible there, but it did work out pretty well. So yeah, that
super
was fun.
ethereal with the color tones. It's beautiful, man.
All right, so that's one half of that, and then the other half of that little story is the Gold Skeleton 2, which I love the way they did this, because even having picked up a Gold Skeleton, the original one recently for, not too bad a price, but not still not cheap. I'm happy for having that. It's a little different, but you generally get it here anyway. But the biography, the casualties of the First Great War, these defeated angelic warriors of Cirrus were cut down by Maxilis the Harvester and then resurrected by the magic of Necronominus. The undead angels become sort of some of Necronominus' most powerful followers, and they were banished with him from the dark. When the Dark Four were defeated by the great beasts, immediately distinguishable by their golden bones, these fallen angels still possess their feathered wings as a cruel mockery of their celestial beings they once were. I love that retcon, you know what I mean? Because it was kind of like... we've got the reason that Scaphoid is, the color that he is, and Calavius is the color that he is. So just having a reason for golden bones is really cool.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, he was never high on my list to begin with. It'd be kind of because of that. I just didn't get it, I guess, maybe. But now that I have this story, I'm like, oh, dude. Not to mention it's an absolutely gorgeous figure, but I totally dig that story.
Yeah, and the wings, I mean, really make it here. You know what I mean? Like, it just becomes a whole different thing than just a gold skeleton, which is cool, too. I mean, I love my skellies, but these wings are... I mean, there you go. There's your gold skeleton, if you want that. But the wings are sick, man. And the fact that you get the gold feet, or you get the armored feet, gold hands, which we don't even have these... We don't have these hands yet, do we? Or do we?
No. I
Maybe
don't know.
yes.
Necronominus hands, right?
Well, yeah, that's going to come with the pack, but we don't...
Right.
This is the first time we'll have these probably before Necro. Well, maybe
No,
we'll have it
Necronominus
before.
is coming out this year. I did want to say.
When did they say this was dropping?
About 12
Early next year?
months. So yeah,
Okay.
middle. Yeah, so
Okay.
like Q2, 25. I did want to say a couple things. One, this is such a unique take on the fallen. Somebody said fallen angel in the chat, and it's like it's such a unique take on that concept, because usually you're looking at a fallen angel as like still a human type thing, like it's still, and it's maybe blacks and like darks, and this is just a totally different take on it. Another thing, talking about you having the original, like this isn't like the Gold Knight, where the Gold Knight was the exact same figure plus an additional head. This is a completely different figure. This is totally different armor, different bones, different everything. This is a totally different figure. So of all the army builders to sort of have the original of, I think this is one where I think completists might struggle not to have, like some completists might be like, it might not be enough.
It's not really a version 2 of the gold skeleton.
This is one of the few times. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a version 2, sort of the same way that Baron Voligar version 2, or Vorgus version 2. It's not a version 2.
It's not a direct remake of the original.
The same way that the those reinforcements version 2s were.
It exactly is. And this is the one time that I did take kind of advantage of my insidery knowledge, because it was available, and I just threw it out to Jeremy. I'm like, listen, before I drop, because I was buying a bunch of things. I think it was from Tim Fung on the group. And before I buy a bunch of these things to the tune of a few $100s, is there any possibility that this is coming back out? And he said, well, there's going to be, but it's not going to be the direct same thing. So no, if you want it, then it's not a reboot, or it's not a remake of it. It's a reboot, as Jordan is saying here. Perfect. Excuse me. Yeah, and the translucent wings here, for the most part, I mean, they're not fully translucent, but like there's not a ton of light behind here. It's a fairly bright light, but you can really see through them, so it's really kind of cool.
Yeah, I love how they carried that onto the sword, the spear and the sword too. That
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's so cool.
What was that sci-fi movie that was on? I think it was on HBO. Not a lot of people watched it, sadly. It had 2 seasons. It was really cool. But they had these beings that were, I think they called them angels or something like that. And they were just destroyers, and they would just like fly with their hands out through the air, like almost like, crucifixion style, and just wipe out masses of people. Like
Was
they
it
were
called
built.
Corruption?
No, it wasn't called Corruption. No, it's it'll come to me.
Raised by
Raised by
Wolves?
Wolves. Yes, thank you, David. Thank you, Thanos. Yeah, Raised by Wolves. I loved that show, man. It didn't get renewed, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
but you saw it. I think you saw it.
Yeah, that
You
was
watched it,
oh my God, what's the director's name? Big director. Oh,
yes.
shit.
Not Cameron.
No, but huge name.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Anyways, we'll come down.
Someone in the chat will let us know.
Yeah, HBO. It's different. It's different sci-fi, which I thought was really
Yeah.
cool. Ridley Scott. That was Ridley
yes.
Scott. Yep. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was the executive producer. He wasn't the director on that. I think he was the
Oh,
executive
okay.
producer. or
But
something.
yeah, visually it was amazing.
It was cool as hell, man. It was really good. It seemed a little like lower budget than I expected it to be, but I loved it, man. I thought it was really different. Anyway, I digress. It reminds me of that. But so
Yeah. now
there's
you
that
say
little
I totally
story
get
of Iosf and the gold skeletons. The gold skeletons and the angels are still around. We're assuming in this war, in the Second Great War.
And those are the
because-
4. Those first 4 we went through. Those are the 4 from the story of the first war, the ancient history. And then
Correct.
the other 5 are current times.
Exactly. I'm gonna go through these a little quicker. I won't read all the bio. I know they're not very long, but frost ogres are used as protectorates enlisted by Alithia's brood as guardians of the fortress. And at first I was like, my first thought is like, well, they have vampire ogres, but they can't go out during the daytime, one would assume. I mean, we're assuming that. We don't know if vampires are vampires the same way they're vampires here, but what a great way to keep people out during the day than to hire some frost ogres who may be more, more daytime beings. But this is cool. I always wanted a frost ogre. I do kind of dig this look a little more than the main look myself, but they're both cool. I like them both.
Yeah. I love the
with
soft
fur,
goods.
without the
Yeah.
fur. It looks good, and I love me a snow scene. So
We need some
It was
new
fun to
weapons.
shoot.
We
Yeah,
definitely need
that's
some
the
new
only-
weapons for
Yep.
the ogres.
Yep.
But
that is, I mean, again, this is a wave, and I know like a lot of people is all reuse and stuff. That is, like you said, Bill. You explained this. Other people who explained it. I think we talked about it on Offworld, but this is a wave that was meant to replace an All Stars wave, in which you would have gotten 3 or 4 figures that had nothing new. They were all old figures. And then reuse stuff that they used to do a couple of PowerCon figures, a couple of tributes to Motu, which they
and
kind
those kind of took like, you had the smaller waves you had the smaller in between waves as well, like Seajet Bjorngar, whatever, all the Colosseum, Covenant, like all of those, and those are like Colosseum and Covenant. People are like, those are like, people consider those some of the best waves, right? When you ask people, oh, Colosseum is like the best. Those are all reuse. Like those are all.
Yeah. Like here's an All Stars. Here's what you would have gotten. You got a couple of, you got a bunch of reissues, Scaphoid, Cyril Wayne, Tibius, and Vitus. And then this is all reuse.
Yeah.
it's all
This
reuse,
is how the
just
line
done differently.
thrives, is
Yeah.
because they're able to make money off of the parts that they've invested in. That's how a line thrives, and that's how we get $40 deluxe figures and
Exactly.
$37 figures that are loaded. Like that's how the line thrives.
If they were to do dies for all new parts for every single wave and never reuse, parts, you'd go broke, man. These are $10,000 a piece. Some of these dies, depending on the
People
size
be
of
bitching about the price
piece.
and the weight to get them.
Compared to other toy lines, like every year.
Oh my God, Marvel Legends.
The amount of new parts that the Horsemen put out every year probably beats every other line out there in terms of
I would
newness.
agree. Yeah, it's insane. It really is insane. I mean, people are begging, with Hasbro, with Marvel Legends, to make a part that, just to make one character that really needs like something specific to it, and they're just, it's like it doesn't have accuracy because they're just not going to make the part just for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas,
and think of the numbers they sell too, and they still want to it.
yeah, exactly.
Well, they are pinching pennies over there for sure.
Yeah, but you're right. Not in this wave, but we do going forward need some new large.
We have a
ogre
couple new
weapons.
ones come in. Like we just got that sword.
Yeah.
Who came with the sword? I forget who came with the sword.
I don't remember.
Yeah, we just got that sword pretty recently. Irakagor maybe came with it, I think.
He got. I mean, in the Jin, what's his name? Came with an awesome sword.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a little smaller,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's a little specific, but
The
even
handle is a little smaller.
Regarian comes with this. But this is kind of a new thing,
That's-
but it's kind of a very specific looking weapon.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that same axe I think we're just used to like every figure coming with like 3 different weapons, and you just have all these options and stuff, and the ogres need more options.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, just bigger weapons. I mean, we're going to get more and more of those. In the meantime, as somebody I think said it was on your stream, but Detour Customs, Steph Delatour puts out some great giant weapons. It's my weapons of choice for all my ogre figures, and he's got some great, like if you pick this up, he's got an incredible like ice sword. He's got an incredible ice club. Which that's what they need, like a club or something
are
like for
awesome.
these guys. You know what I mean? So, it's my one, wish they could have. But again, we're talking about, this is the place to do reuse and quick turnaround. That's the other thing too. New tooling means slow down and less fast turnaround. So you're going to see these quicker than you normally would, I think.
If you can find like loose on eBay or something, the Axie Toys T-Rex weapons, those are actually excellent for ogres. They are perfect.
Yeah.
And at this
Yeah,
scale,
I'm sure there's some bigger scale figures out there too that are like almost like 1/10
Even the
or
Mondo,
1/12.
the Mondo
or 1/6.
Masters
Well, I
of
was
the
just gonna say
Universe,
the one-
swords and
1/6
axes
stuff.
are perfect for these.
Exactly.
yeah. The what are the league? What are they called?
TB League.
TV League. Yeah, they've got some cool medieval stuff that
There's
I know
1/6 will
with.
work perfectly, and there's tons of 1/6.
Yeah.
So thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, buddy.
What's up, Joe?
Joe's great. And Joe, excellent work on the stuff that you worked on this wave too. The paint jobs, as
Amazing.
always, just incredible.
And how cool is it having the Joe cam on the reveal? That was great.
Dude, I love the Joe Cam. That was great because that took the the sting out of like, what does it look like? Does this is the color? Because listen, I can't color match everything in these photos to another figure, and like they're gonna look a little different under different light. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of all the same, but like it's tough to say, even looking at them in any shot that you take. That, like you were just asking, Bill, is that a shinier metal? Or is it, so having him put it like, here's the original Night Builder and here's the new Night Builder and here's what they look like side by side. That was great. I really like that. I hope they can do stuff like that every time. I think that's a good idea.
Juan has a question, and one of the
They should.
well, I'm trying to remember who has the plugs with the holes. Let me just check. Hang on.
Oh, because they're deeper, right?
So hang on.
Yeah, because they're set in because of the arms, right? That might be a good part for them to release, although they'd have to retroactively release it as like a plug for that shoulder piece, like for the arms for for the second set of arms for those figures, like they would
Mhm.
have holes in them as
Yeah.
well to plug in pauldrons
So,
from, right?
if you want to pull me up, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
the armor should fit because he does have the plugs with the holes.
Oh, he
and then
does.
he also has the option to put it into the
That's
harness.
true. That harness piece.
So
too,
he's
yeah.
got
yeah.
he's got both options there.
But the plugs have holes in them.
Yes, see,
Oh, I didn't. You're right.
'Cause-
They're there already. All right, so there you go.
but not
Beautiful.
all the figures with plugs have holes. Just him.
Yeah, because I don't think what's his face, the first one did, right?
The green guy,
From Cosmic,
the green
right?
version. Yeah. Oh, the orange 4-armed.
Yeah, I don't think his plugs had holes in them. So
I don't
right?
think so no.
No, they don't.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't. They don't have the holes.
A lot of people talking about they're going to get these for mixing with Thor as well on for their Marvel Legends. So the Frost Ogre went with Kai Pacha, which is delicious with a little oregano. Oh, sorry. Let me
Wait,
bring you down.
so the holes are bigger than the pegs on that set of pauldrons. So okay, so maybe it doesn't actually work.
The holes are bigger than the pegs on that set of pauldrons. Really?
So
Okay.
So the holes on the back of Arachagor are bigger than the pegs on the original
Okay.
shoulder armor that came in the Nate Barch set. That's what he's saying.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of an easy fix. You could maybe find. I use like medical tape to tape
Yeah,
up
I just
some of
use
these
tape,
joints and
pat
stuff,
it
and
out,
you just wrap the medical tape because it sticks really well, and it also has a tackiness to it, so you could stick those in, just get it to the thickness. You could totally make it work. It'll work.
Yeah.
So Kai Pacha is a Jaguelian thief. I think this is the coolest looking head sculpt on any Jaguelian. Just side note.
Same.
Unlikely hero. He is kind of a thief. He's been in prison in where was he? Xylernia. Yeah, that's right. He was in prison by Xylernia, but then ends up saving Artemis from the clutches of the vampires again. They really have it out for her family and her. So he had a team of kind of thieves and rogues and stuff, which you can, obviously build with these separate parts here, which are really cool. I love how this works as an orc, the vampire. It actually really works when you don't see the rest of the head and the big ears and stuff. It's like
Yeah, it's super
it
neat.
totally works.
Love the set so much.
Yeah.
Just taking that head and cape and like popping it on a bear orc body is going to be cool too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the cape is beautiful. Really, really nice. So he's running through the prison with his keys. I love the keys. That's great reuse of those, for sure. So this is current. Obviously, Artemis gets captured. That's one of the things that happened. Captured by the vampires, and he helps her escape. So we know that Artemis is not gone, and he leaves her in the care of the Whisperlings, and then goes to the White Spine back to see if he could free the rest of his crew from the vampires. Actually, they were captured by the Frost Ogres, which probably doesn't
bode
bode
well.
well for them. But yeah, you never know. Who knows? Let's hope they're okay. That's the first. That's that little matchup. The Frost Ogre and Kai Pacha kind of go together, and then we've got the Shadow Centaur, which is apparently a common species in Mythos, but the shadows have been kind of gone for a while. Horrific memory from the first age of the realm, and were banished, I guess, along with Poxus and the rest of the Dark Four. So they come through, and they are there to attack the Convocation and break into the Tower of Basilia to destroy that. They hunt their prey, but a familiar-looking necromancer and the spirits of the scholars who once defended those halls of learning stand resolutely in their way. Very much a Lord of the Rings sort of, the king's under the mountain, the ghosts of the kings of men coming back to life, type of thing in my head anyway. Those are pretty cool. The one thing I'll be honest, until I thought about it, the one thing that kind of not bugged me, but I was just like, I kind of wish this blue had been more like the other Shadow Elves, right? Because I love that team look, and they're all, but if you think about it, this is fur, you know what I mean? And there's no, like, having it that blue, I think overall on the whole horse was going to look a little weird. Now, there could have been like a little transition to a darker
Fading
blue
up.
on the skin or something, but you would also kind of assume that centaurs might, have a little bit of a fine, fur all over them anyway, you know what I mean? A little less thick than the rest of the body, but
Right.
like, some sort of fine fur. So I'm cool with it now. Like it just looks great. I mean, it's a beautiful looking figure. So I get over that.
I feel like
What do you guys think of
Pacha is like so freaking powerful. Between an army of these things, he's got Azahazar, he's got the Jinn. Like, there's so much power behind the Paxis faction. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I love this. I love the colors on this thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of this, the power, so that just again adds so much more intrigue to how did he get defeated, right? I mean, if the good guys end up winning the Second Great War,
Well,
You
kind
know,
of coming up in the next second half of the story, I guess, is kind of at least a clue to like what went down. But
but learning about how this all unfolds is just going to be fascinating.
yeah, and I think some of this is going to be, well, I mean, I think it'll be in the book, but I also do love some of the details left to kind of your imagination as to how a battle went down or whatever. But this guy kind of grew on me as things went along.
Yeah, I didn't know I
pain in
needed
the ass
another
to pose.
Centaur, but now I want at least one.
And that leads us to, and this is the reason, like a lot of people were like, why wasn't this the kind of the ultimate figure shown? And I guess you could have started with Shui, but I mean, he kind of wraps up the whole thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you almost think he's going to be the narrator from now on, you know?
Yep. And Bill did a great breakdown of what might be, and I still like go back watch Bill's video about the 2.0s that he thinks are coming. Not necessarily in this wave. I know a lot of people were saying this is going to be a whole wave of 2.0s, but I don't think that was your point. I think your point was like there are 2.0s coming. There could be a few of them in this wave. There could be some down the line. And you had her in your list. Yeah. You picked her, and then you bumped her for somebody.
I bumped her out, for someone.
Give a quick shout out to Patrick Boyle. His breakdown of all these parts and the
that was nuts, man.
That
that was
homework,
nuts.
Man.
Hell yeah,
amazing.
Yes, that was impressive.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to have on the site. Actually, that would be.
What was from the? Wasn't there something? Didn't he say there was something from the Gothotropolis or something pre? Legions that was in there, and I couldn't really. I didn't have time to like spend on that. I just kind of glanced at it like quickly. I was like, I got to get back to this later and spend time.
Yeah.
But there was supposed to be something.
It was almost overwhelming to look at. It was so deep. You know?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like I'm at work and like kids in the classroom. I can't like dive into the deep end at that moment. You know?
Yeah, this is kind of what we were talking about early on, Alec. It's kind of like there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of narratives, as Bill said, that open up. And Bill would know, with like everything has been destroyed. Here's how we got here. The rest of the story is how we got here, or whatever, or maybe, and then there's a glimmer of hope at the end, or something like that. But we know that
Deadpool, the first Deadpool, didn't it open up like that? Where like he was like,
the movie,
wrecked, and then like it goes back to his
the backstory of how it happens, and then you progress from there. So once this is all over and we've heard all the stories of this great war that is ended in triumph, and yet we don't even know who's like what's still left standing. Is the Castle of Four Sides still around? Are the leaders of all these factions still the leaders of all these factions? And then once we get to there, there'll be a little bit of maybe. There's a new danger, you know what I mean? And who knows what that's going to be. But,
Joe says victory always has a price.
Exactly.
And I was going to say, somebody, I can't remember who in the Cabal had a good analogy. It's like, how good was the Clone Wars series? Like, we all knew what happened after that. right? But that series
Tons
was
of Star
Yeah.
Wars like that. Yeah.
Andor.
Exactly.
Like, no
Right.
spoiler alert, everybody
Exactly.
dies.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I
So-
can watch Hamlet over and over and over again. I love Hamlet. I know what's going to happen. But I mean, I guess you don't know going into it, but still, it's a narrative trope, and it works. So,
Curtis.
what's Curtis saying?
Curtis is being Curtis. Jeremy, nobody wants townspeople. Also, our final reveal is a librarian.
Well, they're giving you townspeople in the way of a wizard that you can just use them as some homeless guy. So this was cool. Like I wouldn't have had Azza on my card, obviously, but like I went out and got the Maxburg cape
Yeah.
and the cloth goods and stuff, and like she looks so good. I was like, oh, I don't need this now. But I love the way it came out, so I will definitely be picking it up for sure. Now, the one thing I will say, in my head canon, and I may still even go forward with this in somehow. I'll get to that. I had Azza as bald. Like I just kind of wanted to see her as like the
interesting.
tattoos continuing over her head and having, the full blue thing. But there are no bald females except for the new wave of Cosmic, and I think they have some raised,
Well, you have
schmutz on their
you
face,
have
right?
Lucretia is bald.
Oh, you're right. Lucretia is. Well, yeah, Lucretia's bald, but she's also a vampire, so you don't really
Right,
have
that's
like
not
a
a head you
human
use, but
face. Yeah, I forgot. That's true.
That's a great. I
Good
love
call.
that figure, that sculpt.
Yeah, so I told Jim, I'm like, I really had her pegged as bald, and he's like, all the magic users are bald already. Like, all right, but there's no female bald.
She should have been bald with a beard. She should have been bald with a beard.
She should have been. It's totally
Goatee.
ruined because she should have been bald. Totally not getting this. No, this looks incredible. And the soft goods on this are amazing. Beautiful cape, the way this you know what I'm saying.
Dave Orkin says Juno's half bald.
Juno is half bald. There you go.
Good call, Dave.
I will figure out a way to make her bald. She's going to be bald in my canon. But yeah, beautiful. I love the addition of the book and stuff. I really like that with the spellcasters. That's cool.
Yeah,
Different upper torso piece, but I dig it. They changed the color of the
absolutely
pauldrons,
stunning.
I think. Yeah. This is one of the best magic effects too. I really love that. Just goes in so many ways. I don't know what I was going for here. I was going for some sort of like coming out of like, spinning up or something. But I just wanted to use them. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
cool.
just going to put them on the hands. I asked Jeremy, I'm like, what do you think about this? He's like, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, she's a stunning figure.
Yeah. It's killer. And there's your Hagnon shot there.
Yeah, dude.
And I think
So cool.
a lot of people have been praising the Bastet figure and its build,
Yeah.
and its arms and legs and stuff. And this is using those new parts too.
Yeah.
At least the
It's got the upper arm
legs
with
and
the
upper arms. Yeah.
Yep. Which I like. The addition of those is really cool. Yeah. Everybody who's opened that up said it's just like buttery smooth to move around.
Yeah.
I haven't even opened mine yet. I had the prototypes. They were
wow.
production prototypes. They weren't prototype. They weren't print. They were from the factory, but there was still some things to be worked out. So the ones I had weren't quite as final. So I can't wait to open them and play with them a little bit.
Yeah, they're amazing. And just her whole physique, it just takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah. So the deal here is tying into that is that she goes to the library and the tower of Basilia and calls forward all the dead wizards and people of that ilk. Much like Aragorn did in Return of the King, to fight for them. You know what I mean? Which is cool. Like that's really cool. I really hope we see some more of those, and we got a little bit of that in Shui, but I'd love to see. But he's not supposedly one of them. But I'd love to see some like translucent wizards or something like that. That'd be kind of cool just to tie into this.
Could potentially be like a version 2 or something in as risen up.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely, for sure. Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. We may get some of those from people that we know. Characters that we know. We may have like risen, spiritual versions of
Wow,
of a
that's
character.
wild to think of.
That would be pretty
Bill.
cool, right?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. And then we finally got Shui, which I was also under the impression before I really looked at it that it was a reuse head, but it is not. Is it a new? It is a new sculpt.
Just a very similar beard as the
Mhm.
others.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I love his look. It's just aged, wrinkles, and seems like he's been around forever and wise. Yeah.
Yep. And I was under the impression that this was a scroll, but upon further inspection, I'm not sure it is. It's hard to see. I don't know.
It's
looks like kind of
finished
a
very
stick.
similar to the scroll.
Looks kind of like a stick now.
It
Though.
does
I'm
kind
not
of
sure.
look like a stick, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
it's
Jesse
whatever.
wasn't Jesse
It is-
saying that he thought that's what it was.
yeah.
It might have been. Yeah. But who knows? It's still magic. Whatever. You can't have it all. I do my best. But he was one of the scholars who risked his life trying to protect the knowledge contained in the Asian collection. He survived the Pox's attack and the rest of the battle, so we know that there was more after that. Shui was named the library's new master of records. Now, somebody, was it you, Bill, or somebody on your show, or somebody else on some other show that said, maybe it was in Mythic Enablers today, I'm not sure, that maybe, what's his name, who was the master of... Samir, who was the master of records.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I guess
Hope he's
things
not
didn't work
dead,
out for
yeah.
Samir.
Somebody looked
but-
it up though, and their titles are actually different. There's two
slightly
different
different?
titles.
Okay.
Yeah, so it
let's look
might
that
not be even the same role.
Oh, okay.
One was the master of records, and one was something else. I forget.
Let's look it up, just since we're talking about this.
Here's a cool comment. There are ghost elves in the lore, so we might get more clear type warriors. Ghost
Keeper of the
elves.
Great Library of Agbendor. So I guess technically maybe different.
Maybe
That
he's the
sounds
boss. Maybe
kinda
he's
the same
maybe
to
he's
me.
Shui's boss. That kind of sounds like could be
Maybe. He's Shui's superior. That's hard to say. But anyway, he is now the new master of records. It is technically different than the head of the library, I guess. So master of records. So maybe he's more about the history, and Samir is more about like the magical tomes and texts and things like
Yeah.
that. So
I think
maybe this
Kirby's
he's got a subset.
Kirby's figured out what that piece is. It's a paper straw. Shui is very concerned about the sea turtles of Mythos.
Ah, good. Excellent. Yes, definitely use the paper straw, kids. I know they taste like shit, but they're much better.
Maybe it's a bone straw.
Yes, it's true. It's like one of those water transformers that just like takes the
Jason
dirty
Bone
water.
Straw.
Jason. Oh, it's a tribute. Boom, enabled. Returning to Ophidian to help rebuild the library, he comes to the Ashes of Agbendor, searching for tales of the past while also beginning to record the stories of the modern age. So yeah, he's kind of the record keeper. He's picking up the ashes and trying to figure out... I love the soft goods on this. I think are nuts, man. I really love these things. I think these are going to be great for a lot of custom pieces.
Yeah, awesome layering.
Love the 2.0 pirate boots. Those are great.
This is a totally random thought, but it reminds me of the Scarlet Letter a little bit, because in the beginning of that, you have the custom house opening chapter that like nobody can handle. It's like everybody skips over it. But the whole point of that is this custom house, essentially Hawthorne, but like this worker at the custom house comes across these records of this thing that happened, and it turns out that this is the story of the Scarlet Letter.
Right. Wow, it's been a long time since I read that. Holy cow. This I love. I mean, I love this whole thing. I want more of this. Like, this is great.
So to me, like this character is really cool, but it's also a parts treasure. Like there is just so many different looks you could do with him, like different
blue and
layering,
gold.
with the hood up, the hood down, and like pull that cape, the vest thing off, and have him be more of like a, maybe a head swap would be in order for this, but like have him be a little more of an adventuring gear type stuff. Like this figure, I think, is going to be an absolute.
Could be a
home run.
ranger elf, you know what I mean? Like that's that type of look too, you know what I mean? You just to swap it out with an elf head. Your Fallout tributes are all going to come from this one because when they showed it without all the soft goods.
It's kind of Michael Jackson.
MJ,
with his
totally.
armor on.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. It is more along the lines of this color. I know that this looks has a little more color to it, but it is more along the lines of like the first Agnon. than the second Hagnon. So if that helps anybody, you get the translucent neck piece too. So that's cool. But yeah, so that's Shui.
Awesome wave.
Yeah, I think it's a cool wave. Somebody asked earlier, I don't know, Bill, you were compiling some of these questions.
Yeah, we got questions.
Going to go back, but somebody did ask, I'm not sure who it was, like what was our favorite. So, I mean, since we're on this, we may as well just hit that. So, Nate, if you want to, like top three.
Top three.
Sure.
Blue Shield. Kai Pacha. Man. I can't even pick a third. They're all so freaking awesome. I mean, maybe I'd go with the 2-pack of the Gobos. But yeah, I mean, now we're just talking about Shui. I love him. I love Iosf, the Gold Sky. Dude, they're just, I can't even pick one.
All right. You're the Mal of the group now.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Bill, what do you got?
I
know your number one is.
My number one is the Blue Shield.
Yeah, for sure.
My number one, that is just epic. I've always loved those crazy deluxe builder sets. Like the Barbarian is one of my all-time favorites. The original Knight. The orcs and elves that they did recently, which you can still buy those. Like, I can't believe
those
are insane.
Are so good, man. People are sleeping on those things.
Yep.
I bought like a lot of those, like from the original sale. And I've sold some, but I'm hanging on to them because I like them so much. Like right now, I don't have room to build more, but I want to build more.
Yeah, they're
stacked.
They're
so good. If you can get them, especially if you can get them at a good price, which seems like they've been going down in price. Yeah, you're right. They're really, really good.
And then my second one is the Goblins. Like that, both the Knight and the Goblins. It's been something people, and myself included, have really wanted for a long time, is a Goblin builder pack, and that's exactly what this is. It's got swap out arms, it's got multiple heads, it's got everything you want in a builder pack. And then my number three is Shui is my number three.
Yeah, I haven't even really thought about this. I really, I love Knights and everything, but like the whole, I don't know. I had a lot of Knights, you know what I mean? And I was kind of like, nah, I'm kind of knighted out. But I do like that set, man. It's a really nice set. And the soft good, blue as opposed to like the hard plastic blue pieces are really, really cool. So I don't know if I put that number one. I might give a slight edge to the Goblins. As much as I have like there's a lot of Goblins. There's more Goblins than I realize. When I look at my shelf, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of Goblins already, man. But they are kind of like, the same kind of bodies and stuff. So having those bare arms and the bare thighs, that's really going to be a game changer. And just be able to swap those out with other figures that I already have on the shelf, I really like that. So I'm probably going to put that number one. Number two, the Blue Shields. And then probably number three, strange as it is, man, that gold skeleton, I don't know. There's something, I think it's just more of a photography thing. I can't wait to shoot that more. But that's really good. But Shui is also excellent for parts and stuff. So I don't know, like one of those two. But yeah, somewhere in there. Hedgehog.
Anyone sneaking up on anyone? Oh, any sneaking up on anyone. It's the Centaurs for me. It was just okay at first, but I keep coming back to their blueberry gray goodness more and more now.
It's the Veruca salt of...
It's the color of... blueberry milk after
it is the color of blueberry milk after you're done with it. That's true. That is the perfect. Wow, that should be like a paint color, blueberry milk. That's perfect.
Thanks, Jonathan.
What else we got, Bill, for questions? So now we're into the question portion of our. I think we were going.
All right, so we got to go back to the.
Russian 61.
You want to pull the stuff down? You want to pull the
I'll go with
share
we'll
screen
go with
down?
Oh yeah. Let's go with this. Yeah, stop the screen.
But
there.
we got to go back to Curtis's original.
Okay.
His original super chat, $5 super chat. Thank you, Curtis. What is your favorite comic book superhero? Favorite super villain? Nate, you want to go first on this one? I can start. So Batman is my favorite. My favorite comic book superhero is Batman. Do I have a favorite villain? I don't know that I have a favorite villain.
I was
But
that
definitely
would have
Batman is
Yeah.
maybe Joker might be my favorite villain, but Batman is definitely my favorite comic book superhero. Other
I had the
phases
exact same answer, so that's why I was hesitating because I was trying to think of a villain myself. Think about that.
I'm also a big fan of Iron Man, and I love Spider-Man as well. Spider-Man is
Yeah.
probably my number 2, but
Same.
those are
Same
some of my
here.
other faves.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say Wolverine but like Wolverine has gone through so many. Like I loved Wolverine, Mark Silvestri, Chris Claremont writing, John Byrne drawing, that kind of thing. Silvestri drawing. That Wolverine back then, it was a little cooler and a little more, into the Japanese culture and like, just had a little more of a balance of attitude than he does now, or did later on. Spider-Man's always been great though, man. Spider-Man's a classic character.
Yeah.
I do love Batman, but I can't say I love Batman enough to like go out and buy a lot of comic books. I bought some of the compilation books and stuff like that, but he's never really kept up with him, but it's a great looking character. So I go with Spider-Man. I go with villain. I mean, going back to Spider-Man, I always loved the Green Goblin. The original Green Goblin was creepy as hell. But I also want to shout out to the Watchmen. I would go the Comedian. The Comedian's pretty badass too. I like the Comedian. Not quite a good guy.
Yeah. It's a good shout.
We had one before that, but I think it was after Curtis's. But what's your awesome Shabazz going to be? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was that. I just tagged it because I know it was a question. Well, I'll have it up at some point, either at Legions Con or maybe on Etsy at some point. But I got to get some stuff printed. I think Jeremy Govier. It's not Govier. I keep saying Govier, and somebody corrected me. It's Govier.
Okay.
Do any of you collect glyos? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Funny you should ask.
Just got this in today. Armorvore, I think it's called. But
That is
this
so
is
cool
so if
looking.
you've ever seen the ones that kind of look like battle beasts, this is one of those. And I think it's a bit of a mashup of a couple lines, but yeah. So that I just got that one in today. What's that?
I was just gonna ask, like, what does he come with? Weapons or accessories?
He
Or
doesn't come with any weapons, but he's got a few.
it looks like those hands are made to
Well,
hold
I think
something.
I already put them in my bin, but he's got like 3 or 4 other heads.
Oh wow!
He's got a pair of swap out legs, so you can do kind of a different look. Like actually, let me show you.
That's
real
cool.
quick.
Do the
You
wings
guys
move and all
collect?
that? No.
The wings, it's one piece.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's pegged into the back.
Mm-hmm.
But let me. Do you
They're a
guys
little-
collect glyos at all?
I don't know.
No. I learned about them like a long time ago, and I know the Horsemen were going to be, we're thinking about that as a basis for this line at one point. Maybe where I heard of them, I don't remember. I know there was a lot of it going. It's been around forever. It's been the basis for a lot of,
Yeah.
personal. Like it's easy to go and have them made, the parts and pieces and stuff like that for the most part.
Yeah, it's a really cool system, and the thought that
Mhm.
it's not just like a bunch of different like manufacturers, or not manufacturers, but I guess creators. Or makers
Mhm.
and they all pop up amongst everybody else's, right? It's a
Mhm.
really
So, yeah,
cool
I just-
thought behind it and
I
system.
popped the heads and the legs, and this is.
Oh
like
my god!
Oh
you're
wow, that's a whole
another
different
look
thing. Cool.
that it
It's
comes
wild.
with.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I mean, you can see where this is like, again, this was going to be the basis for Mythic Legions at one point. It's what they thought they were going to go with in terms of a basis for the bodies and stuff. And you can see where the pop and swap came from, because that's the whole, kind of thing with Glyos, is that you can kind of like pop things off, pop them on, and they all sort of interchange with everything. They're built with a system basically, which is cool. Really,
Great
really
One of my
toys.
favorites
It's great
right
toys.
here. And I forget the name of the line, but
cool. Oh yeah, that's great.
food wrestling
Wow.
guy.
Wow,
And
that's awesome.
He comes with a little sidekick.
I wonder if Robo
He's got
knows
a
about
little
that.
fry
Oh
guy
my God.
sidekick.
That's a total Robo figure right there.
I could see getting so carried away with that line.
Yeah,
What I want to do, so
because they're
I'm
so
still
simple
pretty-
and just
I've
fun.
only been
They're not like
collecting them for a year,
detailed.
Right.
but I'm starting to have a lot of them. What I want to do is I want to get like shot glass like display.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know if you've ever seen those, like little
Yeah.
nook and cranny.
Yeah, yeah.
shop-
Yep.
Yeah, they're the little.
and
Yeah.
I want to
mhm.
put them all in there.
That'd
That's
be
how I
cool.
want to display.
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Like, get a few of those.
And they had
that's perfect.
At least one Glio company at Legions Con last year, right?
Oh, they had a ton. There was like
Did they have a
10,
bunch?
10 different companies
wow.
there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah, I glanced through there and I'm like, I can't get into this, but there was some cool stuff that I almost went back and bought. And I'm like, I know I know myself.
I know.
myself.
I think
If I get
that's
a few,
why
I'm going to
I-
get more. So
I didn't realize there was 10 because I probably see them and I'm just like, no, don't look, don't look,
Yep.
don't look. No.
Yep. How did you get them to glow? I'm assuming you mean the Hagdon. They're just lit up from the top. They weren't really. I didn't think they were glowing because I think I shut the lights off at one point to see if they were glowing and they weren't. So I obviously didn't expose them to enough light at first. So
By the way, somebody
ask-
had said, they had said that head that head that I had popped on there could be a little gun, and there you go. That was the head.
Oh, look at that.
Had on there. So
Wow.
is that in his
I didn't-
hand?
I
Oh, he's
didn't do
holding
it.
it in his hand.
so
the
his
neck peg?
hand, so his hand peg
Yeah,
is the same
same size as the
every
neck
single
peg.
peg
Yeah.
on all the Glyos figures are all the same.
Yeah.
They're all the same peg. So I could pop his arm off, and I could stick this in his arm if I wanted.
Nice.
You know, like
God, that's crazy.
See, that's
So
how
you
those
can go
pauldrons
crazy.
should have been, Joe. Just kidding. Ask us anything. Everyone's most anticipated figure of this wave. Well, we kind of just went through
Just
that.
went
So
through that.
yeah, we shared
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yep. What do we have next? Mock's got a question.
Mock.
Ask us anything. What is your favorite figure of the new wave? Follow-up question, why is Mock your favorite? Well, I did pick the Goblins, so I think we all picked the Goblins, didn't we? Or did we all
He was
pick
in
the
the
Goblins
top
in our
3
mix?
for sure. Yep.
Goblins
Yeah.
was up. Yep, for me.
Yep. Either 1,
Yeah.
2, or 3. So there you go.
I'm a huge Goblins fan.
Yeah.
I've told this
Yeah.
story before, but I have been playing Magic the Gathering since '94, and I've had a Goblin deck since '95. Like I've always played Goblins.
That's right. I forgot
That's
that was your
Magic,
Goblin.
so-
Deck with an
I-
E, everybody.
Yeah.
Where's
That too,
going with that?
you know. It's really
Goblin deck? You just want to make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
there's-
Deck.
people don't get confused.
Deck.
Yeah.
He's not.
I've had a Goblin deck since
It's not from New York.
94.
It's
It was
my
a
Goblin
terrible
deck.
accident.
Yeah, Guesagway says this. I mean, everyone who watched the prequels knew Anakin was going to be Darth Vader. So there you go in terms of like the retro narrative there. Kevin and Boots is the question. Kirby. I just found out that I might have a scheduling conflict with Legions Con. Oh my God. Please give me advice on how I can still look at myself in the mirror and have a clean conscience with making a decision. Well, I mean, you got to tell us what the scheduling conflict is. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
if it's like life-saving surgery,
I can't think of a
wife's
single
birthday,
No. I
no.
can't think of a single reason why
Jesus,
to miss
wow.
Legion's Con.
See, my wife would be understanding. I think. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not
Come on,
sure.
you
I
can
don't know.
celebrate
Something
that
that
one
I
day.
had planned and I had a table at. I mean, like, what are you going to do? We'll celebrate. She's not a child. You know what I mean? So it's like we can
Right,
celebrate another
exactly.
day.
Who has is
Birthday month.
Jeremy Gerard? Is it like his anniversary or something? Like, isn't there
I
something?
think so.
Or
Something
maybe
like
that's
that.
PowerCon.
yeah.
Maybe that's PowerCon or something else. But
Mhm.
I remember somebody
Maybe.
telling that story where it's like every
It's
year.
it's got to be somebody's birthday or somebody's. I mean, the odds are that somebody's got something. So yeah, Kirby, give us what this. I mean, if you can
Need
share.
More deets.
Yeah, we need more details. I mean, a clean conscience. If it's even if it's your kid's birthday, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have kids, so
Just do it
I'd-
the weekend before or after.
I'd be out.
Fine.
I'd be
Give them
like,
an
yeah,
extra gift.
we're gonna give you a great party the week before your birthday.
Yeah,
And then
just
I'm
go
gonna be-
overboard with party and gifts,
Exactly.
and then you can do whatever. you want.
Did we have more? I don't see too many more tagged questions here. If you guys got more questions, start popping them in here. But I'm not seeing.
Let's see.
Um,
Ask us anything except about.
Well, you know what? I want to address this anyway, though. But Lewis Christian Vids, I think people were disappointed because 4HM hinted at, and we assumed we assumed that this wave would be mostly version 2s, and we only really got one upgraded character with that. Now, I know you're saying people assumed. You're not saying you're, well, maybe you're disappointed. I don't know. But there was nothing said about that. They did say before that, in lieu of All-Stars, there would be more 2.0s, but it doesn't mean like we were going to get a whole wave of 2.0s. We got more waves coming. There's more to come throughout the year, including G-Con, which is probably going to be nuts.
We got 3 version 2s in this wave.
Technically.
Just
yeah,
2 of them
right.
builders,
And we know that, like you said, they're coming. Otho's coming at some point. He's coming.
Yeah, and what I think I said in the chat on I couldn't make it to your live, but I think people, one of the problems is, and I know we all like to speculate, except for Curtis. Curtis doesn't like to speculate, but
or read.
We all like to talk about it and figure out, see if we can figure out what we know, what might be there. And I think a lot of the times like people start getting into like, I guarantee this is going to be.
They get attached
in this wave. And it's like, when it's, you don't know, man. Like, you don't know what's going to be in. And people start to say, oh yeah, definitely. That's definitely. If it's not, we riot, that type of shit. And it's like, man, you can't do that to yourself. I see it all the time because on my side, I know what's coming. And when I see people going, oh, I think this is when they're dropping the dragon. I'm like, oh man, everybody's building up the dragon. Everybody's building up Otho 2.0. And now I know what it's going to be. And I'm like, it's cool, but it's not Otho 2.0 cool, or Otho version 2 cool,
Like, this is kind of a good thing, I think. Like, people building themselves up and then being disappointed because it keeps everyone on their toes, right? Like, if they stayed super predictable, it would not be fun. So, like,
right.
Like, I don't,
exactly.
They gave us hints and they could have gone one way or another. You had the flames and the fire. You had the reference to days gone by and heroes that have fallen, and all this stuff. I think the problem is that people start to judge something, whether it's a show or a toy or a storyline for a toy or whatever. They judge it based on what they were hoping it would be, and they think that because it wasn't the thing I wanted, it's objectively bad, and that is just
wrong.
Like, that's
There's
just like
a lot
dumb, illogical.
Right. I mean, think of how many Legions related content shows are out there. How many of them filled those shows with speculation? That was a lot of fun to listen to. Had a lot of fun doing it.
Sure.
None of that would have been out there, like you said, if everything was so predictable every single time.
You've got to. It's fun to speculate, but you can't get so attached that if it's not that thing that you've just come up with, or maybe you've always wanted it. I get it. I get that there's things that you've always.
It doesn't mean we won't get it.
Right. Patience is a virtue.
Didn't get it this time.
And it's even different than saying like a show. You know what I mean? Like I even think there's valid criticisms in saying like, this, the direction they took that character or whatever in the show or whatever I didn't like. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. This doesn't even have like, it's not a show. It's some figures. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's different. It's a little different than that. But you just don't get so attached to your predictions and like really like feel like, it's definitely going to be that. And that regular refrain, or if we don't get Otho version 2, we riot. You know what I mean? Like,
your hopes and dreams were shattered.
Based on this line, that we're gonna get an Otho version 2 at some point. You know what I mean? It's gonna. Sure. I'm not guaranteeing that because I don't know, but like, odds are it's gonna happen. So like, just chill. It'll happen.
I just know 4 Horsemen have not done me wrong yet, and they just keep wowing me more and more with every release. So I'm just confident that's going to happen every time. And they've never let me down once.
They want. They say this over and over. Like, they make the figures they want to see. They're making art. It's their art. It's,
how many times does Eric
there's
say
inevitably going to be people who don't want the same thing as 4 Horsemen. They're not necessarily just catering to everybody's demands and wishes. They're making the figures they want. So there's
Yeah,
going to be
but these are figures Treadaway said he's wanted since he was a kid, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's awesome.
We're living in Treadaway's world, man.
Yeah, we are
That's
the
what we're doing.
we are the
You're the benefactor
beneficiaries.
of Treadaway.
Treadaway
Treadaway's
waters.
That's right. You're
Right.
you're benefiting from that, but like
Absolutely.
it is his world. So,
Here's a question from Babylon Squared. Hey Trevor, where are you at with the retake of the figures library for the anniversary photo book? Good question.
are you Jeremy? Secretly, it's happening, man. But like,
so Jeremy doesn't sick Chris on you?
No,
Chris is
no,
too
he
busy
doesn't.
with Nate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is these things come in and this takes over. So I'm going to be getting back to him very soon. Where am I? I've got to take stock of that this week myself because I just talked to Jeremy about it. So, go ahead.
Here's another question related to toy photography. Nate and Trevor, what is your most photographed figure?
Of any figure?
I'm assuming. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question because I was going to assume out of Legions, since
Jeez,
that's what we're talking about. That'd be a
Do
tough.
both. Legions and then general.
Oof. I don't even know if I could do that. Jesus, I have to look.
I purposely try to mix up stuff as much as I can.
So
and there's
do
so
I.
many.
I rarely shoot things like
There's so many
more
figures
than
I
two or
haven't even
two
shot
times.
yet. So.
Yep, same. It
But
used to be
in the case of like a
Ravina early
Spider-Man,
on. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I
Spider-Man.
mean, for like Batman's and Spider-Man's, obviously,
Yeah.
retake those over and over.
Yep.
But out of
Yep.
all the figures we have within now Cosmic and adding figure Obscura in, like I said, I try to rotate and put new stuff in. If I get third-party parts in, I like to feature those. So
Yep.
I don't know that I've done a lot of just one. I'll have to think about that. It's a good question,
Yeah.
Alex. Thanks for asking, though.
I think it started out with Mythic Legions to be Ravena. I loved Ravena. I thought that was the coolest looking character. And now I think it's Hadriana. I think if you counted up just the Mythic Legions pictures, if it wasn't just a general thing like a skeleton Legion builder or something, I think Hadriana would be the number one figure. I think I've photographed her like 4 times, so it's probably somewhere in there. But I don't know. Other than that, I couldn't tell you, man. Just like you, like I try to mix it up because I get bored with stuff.
Yeah, just mix up the feed anyways. Just even not, I try. It's
Character-wise,
my feed's been taken over by Legions, which is,
Yeah.
which is all good, but even try to mix that up and not just have a ton of Mythic Legions in a row or,
Character-wise, I can't even say if it's not Batman. I don't think. I don't know. It's probably a Star Wars
Vader?
character. It's probably Luke Skywalker or something like that. And yeah, probably Luke. I would say it's probably Luke in one form or another for sure.
Yeah. Count Stormtroopers, they've been in a ton of my shots, right? At some point. It looks like more of a comment.
Okay.
Was starred though. I was thinking version 2 is coming, but not disappointed at all. May not have had all of my favorite figures in this wave, but Four Horsemen has killed it with their line. I'm here for the ride.
That's
Good way
it.
to put
Yeah.
it.
And you
And
can't
who
say
knows
that they don't listen to us and don't give
Oh, they
people what they
absolutely
want.
do.
Too,
We know
you
they
know what I
do.
mean? But it is a mix. It is not just like you can't just every time somebody mentions something start taking counts as to how many people say that. But if they hear something enough times, they respond to that. So,
Bill, this is for you.
I don't. My main goblin deck, I have 1 sharpshooter in it. Yeah. But I don't use sharpshooter in arena because I don't think sharpshooter is in arena.
Okay.
all right. I asked earlier if Shui's clear parts the same color as the ghost parts in the Undead Builder pack. Dude, it's been so long since I saw that Undead Builder pack. I would say it's pretty close. It's more in the line of the first Hagnon.
Hagnon?
The Undead Builder parts were a little more
blue, weren't they?
blue
Aren't they?
towards the more but not quite as blue Hagnon. It's hard to say, man. Here's the thing. I love to like color correct everything so that everything is like you could look at everything and compare, and you can to some degree, but when you get it in hand under depending on what under what light you're looking at it's going to look different. You know what I mean? So
Joe's
it's hard to
got
say that it's going to be the same
insight.
thing. Did Joe have that?
Oh, we're
Oops.
trying to pull
I'm gonna
something up.
reset my
Sorry.
camera. Hang on. Go ahead.
You have something to pull up, Bill? Go ahead.
Yeah. He says not the same colors as on
Oh.
the builder pack. So confirming that.
Yeah. I do remember
Here's
it
an
looking a
interesting
little more
question.
blue.
What do you think went through Jeremy's head when somebody posted that Agbendor is an anagram for bee dragon? Now, here's the thing with that. People were talking about the word Agbendor and the word Ophidion as if this was the first time they ever appeared. Like, we created these names specifically for this wave.
This wave,
to-
yeah.
Right, like, they didn't, though. Those names have been around for years. So, they're just, yeah, I mean, it's just not a coincidence necessarily, but it's not something that was, like, specifically geared towards, like, pumping this wave with this anagram or something.
Not that people were grasping for paper straws, but I mean,
Sway
people,
was.
you know, that you go digging for stuff like that, and you never know what you're going to uncover. So you see what you want to see in some cases.
That is one of those things where it's almost like, I mean, it's a little more, I hesitate to say legit, but it's like counting up the numbers and saying, oh, there's 13 letters. There's 13 letters. The 13th letter of the alphabet is like, that's like,
Right.
dude, come on, man. yeah. Chill on
Cut
the
to their
conspiracy
basement and they
theories.
have the red yarn, you know, like
Yeah.
strung out all over the place. Yeah.
What's the next one? What else you got?
Let's see.
I'm lost as to where we were. So I have this one from Alec McLaughlin, but I don't know where that is in the pantheon of questions. So I'll just pull it up. How well was the Knight Builder able to two-hand a sword? Yeah, very easily. It's the Valiant Knight figure, so like it's great. I know the new arms can do two-handed on the new torso, but the builder has the old red shield. The builder has the old red shield torso? No. The builder is the new Valiant Knight torso. I think everything is based on that new
The new arms can.
torso. I don't know if the yellow and blue one is, but I think it is. I think they're all based on the new Valiant Knight torso.
No, it's
Although
got
the blue and yellow
it's
one
got-
might not be.
It's got the red
Yeah.
shield torso. That's right.
The middle, like the main one,
With
is
the gold
is the
trim?
red shield. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to pull it up?
Oh,
So
okay, but I
it's
think
the same
they
as the
cut
gold
this.
skeleton.
Who said that?
So, Iosf.
I think it's cut different
Iosf
though.
has. So Iosf has the Valiant Knight torso, which is the same torso as the, the Necronominous wave stuff, and then the Blue Shield Soldier has the Red Shield Soldier. So does the Gold Skeleton. Those two have that torso. So what
I
you're
thought
looking
these
at there,
arms were cut a lot deeper, though. You were positive of that? It's the same exact one. It wasn't modified.
same torso, but the arms. The
But there
arms
is a
have-
part of the new Valiant Knight that has a little bit of an indented torso. It has a little bit more space in the
it's got a
torso
little
right
more
there.
range. Yeah. It'll
Yeah,
have a little
like
more
this one doesn't, because this is an old, obviously
Right.
the old torso.
Yeah.
But I could have sworn
The
that
Red
this one
Shield
was.
torso is
but I guess
pretty
not.
pretty slim. It's going to
Yeah.
have more range than the original torsos.
Well, I mean, to answer your question, here it is, right here. It was a piece of cake. I mean, I didn't struggle with this. It was very very easily. So you could definitely easily get a two-handed.
I mean, you can try it out.
Grip
Just
out of
grab
that.
it. Just grab a Valiant Knight arms and put them in a
And pop them on the red shield.
Red Shield torso, and you'll see
Torso,
what it's
yep.
like.
Rob says, check my previous super chat. Which one?
Oh yeah, so he had a question.
did.
His AMA question
Oh.
was, who is in your party for Carver
Oh,
Customs
yeah.
Adventure Party 24?
Sorry, Rob. I did see that.
I'm gonna work on that. You guys have answers for this? That's something I'm gonna work on. I think.
Is
I'm gonna
there
try
like
to.
is there some sort of like
Parameter?
yeah, like what is this all about? I'm not sure.
I think it's basically, I don't know if you have to have like fill slots or something, but it's like, who's your magic user, who's your ranger, who's your fighter, who's your, whatever.
Go back
I don't
and
know.
watch our draft episode. And
Yeah, I mean that's kind of
Kinda
it.
answers
It's
that
kind
question
of
a little
is.
bit.
Yeah. I think you would choose. I don't know. We might choose differently if we were choosing a D&D party or something like that.
Yeah.
But I know people have been talking about it, and it's fun. It's a fun
Yeah.
idea. I want to do it. It's just time, man. I just haven't had time. I'd love to put it together. I
Maybe
kind of
by,
did for one shot for
Yeah.
the dragon shot that I had a long time ago,
Oh, yeah.
unbeknownst to me. But yeah.
Yeah, well, it'd be fun. Maybe either we could put that something in the cabal, or by next show we'll start it with our adventure party.
Yeah, we
'Cause
could
that is
try it.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
We'll do that.
It's a cool idea. I love seeing what people have picked and stuff, but I just haven't had time to like even think about it.
Here's a great pop and swapper with a question for you, Trevor. If you shoot
a black cloak and have to adjust it against the black website the black background, do you adjust all colors values in the shot or isolate the black so it stands out against the background? Yeah, it's lit so it stands against the background. I mean, the way it's lit from both sides. So anything black, it's tricky. But if you look at the Black Knight,
some rim lighting on it.
yeah, rim lighting, front lighting, it stands out. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of, isolating the body and adjusting a little bit. But, I mean, generally, if I'm shooting something like that, I take a little extra time to, like, make sure it's popped out against the background.
Here's Kevin. He says he's the one who did the anagram post. Ashes plus but spec is fun. They like to
Oh,
show
yeah,
their
yeah,
posts.
yeah.
So, hey, and you never know. Maybe they planned that when they came out
No,
with that name, like you said.
I'm not
years ago.
saying-
You never know.
I'm not saying not to do it because it is fun. Again, going back to not hanging your hat on it and getting upset if it's not the thing, which I don't think you were doing. That was a cool call out.
It's really
I think
cool.
it can get a little bit weirder and more, like you said, like red string and pictures on the wall and stuff like that sometimes. But I mean, hell, dragon is in the name is pretty good, and we're talking about a dragon. So no disrespect to you. That was a good fun call out there. So
here's a
Let's try to find that picture.
two-parter over two
remember who was in it.
comments. Do the 4 Horsemen figs coming out now have more paint apps? Previous army builders were pretty flat, intended to be painted and kept and to keep costs down, I believe. Blue Shield is supposed to be army builder, but he looks pretty painted up, like a main character. Can you guys confirm?
I can answer that. So the thing is, like, you got to compare apples to apples, right? So you got to compare this Blue Shield soldier to the other deluxe builder sets. So this isn't a Legion builder, like
Right.
the $25, $27 Legion builders.
Right.
Those originally had very minimal paint apps and still do have minimal paint apps. They do have more these days. Like when you had the orc, shadow orc builder, and it had some two-tones in the skin and stuff. Like,
And that was a
little
regular
bit
Legion
more.
builder because they had the deluxe
Yep.
ones too,
Yep.
which were definitely more painted up. But even that one
Yeah.
was more painted up than
So yeah, I mean, so if you're looking at like the $27-ish like Legion builders, they still have minimal paint apps, but they do have more than they used to. But something like this isn't in the same league because this
Right.
has a full.
Yeah,
paint
you're not
job.
getting all this little tiny like hits on all the trim with the gold on a regular Legion builder. That's just not going to happen. So yeah, like Bill said, these are. If you look at the Barbarian one too, there's a little more of a wash on a lot of those parts and stuff like that. So you're definitely getting more
Look
paint
at the
for your money.
Xylernian Guard, right?
Yep.
That's a full $37/50 retail figure. Paint apps are insane. There's so many awesome little details in that armor.
Yep.
So it all just depends
example.
on the price level or whatever.
That's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to look at the price and you're going to know, exactly how much paint you're going to get on that most likely. Curtis with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, man. Make your adventure party, take a photo, post in the Cabal, and tag them with Adventure Party 24 by the end of June for a chance to win a Carver Customs prize.
Cool.
Sweet.
I love me some Carver Customs, so I will.
Yeah.
So this is just for shits and giggles. This was what I was talking about, and not to just, but this is kind of my adventure party. This is like my giant. I got an elf, I got a fighter over here, and I got a dwarf. I don't know who's the magic. I will say he's the magic user. He's got the staff, so elf magic user, giant
Man, that goes.
warrior,
What? When did you take that
ranger,
again?
and I don't know what the hell he'd be, but maybe probably another fighter.
That goes back. When was this from?
2020, man. 2020.
Holy
so,
shit! 4 years ago. Wow,
Yeah.
I remember that picture. So good.
Yeah.
Love the
That's,
dragon in the back. Oh,
That was what I was using these for. Was like just D&D adventure parties. Like probably a good amount of my early pictures are like answer that question because it's like,
yeah.
here's another one.
One with
It's
the
like,
big
this is-
spider in the back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is another one like winter sort of like you know,
Mhm.
adventure party. So I'll work on it. I want to do it. It would be fun to do, but just haven't had time.
Got another super
What else we
chat
got?
from Brick something. Says, do we know which
Ooh.
of these have the neck joint? We know some of them do. The
Let me try to think.
Goblins show at least one of the necks. Not all of them, but it does have that. It's a stumpier 1.0 body to 2.0 head
Yep.
neck peg that
Yep.
it has.
And then they have that jutting forward, the warrior type style head peg, which is what's on him in the shot, just not showing. And then the 2.0 just has the straight up and down. Simple.
Do
neck
the
pegs,
knights
I believe.
have the hinged? Oh wait, you know what a
Yes.
good thing to do is go watch.
The knights do
Joe-
have the hinged. Yeah, the knights do have.
Go
the
watch
hinged
Joe.
joint.
Go like if you rewatch the Joe Cam portions of the live stream, you'll see the neck pegs and stuff on there.
Yeah, he does a lot of.
I believe all.
pop
I
flops.
think. I think the golds. I think the. Don't quote me on this, but I think the gold skeleton does.
Now the skeleton, does it have a skeleton neck? They got a new hinged skeleton neck.
No, but I didn't think it had a skeleton. Maybe it does. It must.
It's definitely
I
got a
guess it does.
skeleton.
Got
No, all right, it doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't. Iosf, I believe, does. And I believe Pacha might. Don't quote me on that one. I'm not sure about that one. I'm pretty sure
That one-
Iosf does, though.
I think Kai Pacha, you might be able to find it in the in that live
In the
stream.
shop?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we don't always
he
shoot
pops
the
a
necks,
bunch of
but now
heads
that's
on there.
another thing that's like, you know, it might be something we have to start doing because it's just another variable, you know, on
It's good
as,
to know.
as these things
Like,
grow. Yeah.
Yeah. Joe V says we plan on using that neck joint on almost everything 1.0 and dwarf.
Good.
sweet.
Heck yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, we
Spine
need
neck
Patrick
on-
Boyle to like compile this stuff, man. This would be a great thing to compile to put on these.
Oh.
Literally everything they have with them, you know what I mean, would be cool. Because I know, like, in the descriptions on the site, he'll have. Let me switch to this. Yeah, I know, really. You know, it comes with accessories and then additional heads, yes, and that's it. But like, it would be kind of great to know some of that stuff. Anyway, what's the next question for Joe? Oh wow, we're way down. Holy cow! Wow, holy shit! I'm way up here. That looks like it was the last one, huh?
I think so.
Last one starred for sure, and I'm not sure if.
Yeah.
miss
Sorry if
anything?
we
I think
missed
that kind of
anything.
covers.
If we missed anything, you got one more question. We got 5 minutes. If you got one more question, you can throw it at us. But other than that, we'll start to wrap it up here because we are going on 2. Don't like to
Kevin
keep this to
saying
2.
no
Okay.
real requirements for the adventure party post. Just make a team that you think could handle any quest.
Are we
Alright.
describing them? Do we need to describe them or anything like that, or just put it together and say
Yeah.
this is
I
my
think
party?
It's up to you how
Okay.
far you want to flesh it out.
And how are they judged, Brian? Are they?
Trevor's gonna be that guy now.
Do I have to have? If I have 2 magic users, is that going to be deemed too much?
Yeah, I saw somebody with 5 members in the adventure party. That's not fair because I only
That's
had
right.
4 in my adventure
That's right.
party.
There you go.
Holy moly!
Whoa, solo sinner.
Small
Holy
token.
cow, man! Thank you.
Dude.
Jeez.
Oh, it's Canadian.
Yeah, it's like $3. Just
Oh,
super small.
come
I'm
on! Let's
joking.
not
I'm
disparage our Canuck
I know,
friends.
just kidding.
No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
joking.
That'll
That's
buy
still
a,
like $18 or something, man. That's pretty good.
That'll
Yeah,
buy
it's a
you a
big
couple
one.
Timbits.
Hell
Just
yeah!
a small token of appreciation for your art. Goes without saying,
a
your
lot.
shots are such a big part of the ML experience. Your photos always evoke the wonder, total immersion in the fantasy.
Dude,
You're here,
thank you,
man.
man. I appreciate that, and that's very
nice.
generous.
Thank
I
you.
very much appreciate
Super
that.
generous. Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know the translation, but like not of the language, the money, but like it's $25 in Canadian, man. That's like $25. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
That's
still,
huge.
great.
Still,
It's
I,
huge.
I was
Awesome.
joking
Thank you,
about
man.
that.
No,
but
no,
I
I
know.
know.
He's
I've
the
done
one
the
who
same
said
thing.
small, so we were just.
No, I've done the same thing.
It's just like a meme
Um,
at this point.
It is funny. But yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And there's been a few people who've shouted it out on this one. I like the pictures from this particular wave. It was fun to do. It was a challenge because there was a lot of different settings and stuff like that. Unlike like the Noble Bear one, which was 2 settings, so that was a little easier. But it's always
But
fun to like challenge.
At least a lot of the stuff was, whether it was repainted, but it wasn't as fragile as the brand new parts weight stuff you get.
No,
right? So it was a little bit easier to work with.
Yeah, Shui was a little bit of a challenge, and these aren't all like fitted final parts. So some of the torso pieces and stuff didn't like quite pop together nicely, but for the most part, it was a lot easier. Yeah, those always make it easier too. Yep.
And
I gotta
Brian
say,
answers.
I know a lot of people really like the Asa shot, and it's amazing, but there's something about that gold skeleton shot that
I
just
agree.
You know what somebody said on
it's
Saturday was
Incredible.
that would be like one of the amazing metal. You have your metallic ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. the
Yeah.
metallic
Oh, I'm
print.
doing it in
That would
metal.
be
I'm doing it in
Yeah.
metal for
Amazing,
sure.
like,
Someone
Yeah.
said that on our comments here today too. And Brian is
Okay, random winner.
he's
Cool.
letting us
All right.
know. Yeah. So it'll be
So-
a new item that we'll see at LC24. Sweet.
Ooh, exciting.
Love that, man.
I'm not going to agonize over it then if it's random.
Yeah. Hey, check out Carver Customs for not only his awesome torches,
Hell yes.
candles,
Good
but
Lord.
he also makes the bot that's super
Oh, yeah.
customizable. He's got all the different parts for that thing. It's so cool.
As featured in here, right here. Boom. Carver Customs. Awesome.
Yeah. And the candles in your
And,
Pacha.
Yeah, Kai Pacha. I could go for some Kai Pacha right now, actually.
Doesn't that sound really good right now?
It does,
Over
really.
some-
Along with some
It's just
along
some
with
noodles.
some blueberry cereal.
That's right. These are fantastic. I don't even know if he has these for sale yet. I know we got these
I
at
love
Legions Con, I
those.
think, last year, and
Yeah.
they're incredible. So yeah,
Great.
They're
Brian's
beautiful.
killing it, man. Killing it with the stuff he's putting together. Such a great. I mean, again, everybody who's watching this knows Legions Con, but you got to go, man. It's unbelievable. I told my wife, this is another thing I told my wife. If you come, it's like, it's an art show. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to see stuff that I mean, again, it may not have the impact that it has on people who are into the thing, but I think anybody who goes in there and just like sees these things and then goes and like recognizes like, Emil's, Darth Vader or, Ahsoka or something like that you recognize from outside of Mythic Legions and go, oh my God, that's really cool.
Yeah.
In fact, I was showing them some of those, and they were pretty impressed with all that stuff. So
Nice.
Nice.
Sold blue eggnots. That's great.
okay, yeah, you're welcome, Joe. I'll get rid of all those boxes eventually. Yeah, Kai Pacha does sound like Thai food, actually.
Pad Thai Pacha.
Pad Thai Pacha. All right, I think that's a show, guys. It's 10 o'clock. I appreciate everybody showing up tonight, and this was fun. I love these AMAs. I know we didn't get as much AMA as we wanted to. The lore took a little longer than I wanted it to, but it was fun. It was fun to go through that stuff and talk about that as opposed to just the figures. And that's going to get more and more relevant as the book comes out and stuff. I think we'll be talking about that a lot more and getting into all that stuff. And as these waves come out and talk about how the war went, and I think we're going to see, again, not coming from knowledge, but I think we're going to see some. It's going to be interesting when if like major characters do not make it through, like which major characters and the consternation that arises from that. If it happens to be one of your favorite characters, that's going to be. I mean, it happens in the movies, right? It happens in stories, and they kill off a character, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe you killed him."
Yeah. Anyone watch Game
but
of
that's what
Thrones?
makes it. Yeah, that's what makes it exciting. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Bill?
I was just gonna say that sometimes it makes the character almost better or more of a favorite or more
Legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
And with all the I mean, and who knows if they're dead? They're gone forever. With now all
Yeah, I mean, it's fantasy,
Yeah.
man.
They might
You
come
know what I
back
mean?
as a skeleton.
the right.
They might come back as a skeleton. They might come back as a spirit. They might be resurrected by, Helios and Selene.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows? Anything can happen. So maybe they have a evil twin that comes back, and you think it's them, but it's really the evil twin. They just shaved the goatee off. You never know.
Joe and Jeremy will be doing the Pop and Swap Wednesday coming up
Oh,
in a few
cool.
weeks with Q&A
So-
and on the
So if
fly
you've made your
swaps.
order already, get ready to order more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Cool. Oh, so that's not this week. That'll be in the coming weeks. Okay.
couple weeks, yeah, a few weeks.
Awesome. All right. As always, thank you guys for watching.
Hey,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you,
You
thank you.
make it a lot of fun. Tons of people, over 100 people every week usually, and it's great. We really appreciate it. It makes it fun for us. I mean, we'd be here talking about it anyway if there's only 10 people here. But it's great that you guys come on here and support us with the super chats and the questions.
All the
It's
questions.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Love seeing
all
the
you
back
guys.
and forth in the chat. It's awesome.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the conversation's going on while we're talking and
Yeah.
whole other things that we can't always pay attention to, but it's great that you guys, I mean, that's the community. I mean, everybody is pretty much fantastic. There's opinions and stuff, but that's cool. Everybody's good. All right. We will see you in 2 weeks. I don't know what the hell we're going to be talking about then. Who the hell knows? But
I've got an idea.
oh, you do?
Yeah.
Do I?
I had mentioned it a while ago. We'll see if we follow through with it or not.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah,
Potentially.
it's always going to be fun. So thank you guys, Bill, Nate. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Leave us a comment as to what your favorite was in this wave. What are you picking up? Are you going all in? Are you just picking and choosing? Are you getting like 7 Blue Shield Knights like Joe and like 7 Iosifs like Joe?
How many max you gonna get?
How many mocks you gonna get? Mock it down. Put it in the comment.
Mark it down in the comments.
All right. See you guys. Good night.
Cheers.